Oh, hello everybody, and welcome. You're here with Brothers Forge Gaming, and today we're going to be looking at my top 3 most valuable Sega Genesis in-box games. And by value, I don't necessarily mean, worth, or price. I mean, overall value to me as a collector, as a gamer, and then, obviously price factors into that as well. So we're going to take a look at mine, but what's your top 3 most valuable Sega Genesis complete in box, or just in box really, games? Let us know in the comments. Put a link to your video. Now, growing up, I had a Nintendo. I inherited from my brother. It was the first gaming console that I ever played, so my heart belongs a special place with the NES 8-bit Nintendo. All time, will probably always be my all-time favorite console to play, is to collect. It's just so much fun. For Christmas, I got a Sega Genesis in box that came with Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, what a great game, right? Flagship series for Sega Genesis. But, that's not going to make my top list for a lot of reasons. One, it's pretty common. Even the one that is, as you can see, even the one with the not for resale. I actually think it's worth less than the one, probably because it came bundled with the console, or I don't know. Sometimes you see that not for resale on those games, and it makes them worth a ridiculous amount of money. I don't believe that's the case with Sonic. Now, the reason that I'm not including this game on my list, obviously all the memories, this came with my console. It was the only game I had for Genesis for a really long time. I think that's all, I got played it so much I got sick of it. But that game is, okay, so the counterpart to Mario is Sonic, and it's like, his whole thing is Sonic can go real fast, right? And Mario's slow. But you go through and play Sonic, and there's just certain mechanics in those levels that make you slow down to a grinding halt. You gotta wait for platforms and stuff. Not to mention just the underwater level, man. The Labyrinth, forget that place. I hate that place. Probably worse than the bomb level on the Ninja Turtles. Okay? Way worse. So forget that one, we're not including it, but honorable mention, Sonic's a great game. Obviously launched Sega to a whole new level. It's actually available on the Master as well. I want to try it on there, it looked pretty cool. Alright, well, let's break into it. Top 3 most valuable Sega Genesis games. Ba-ba-ba-ba! Number 3, Rastan Saga 2. And if you notice on the front right here, first run video. I scooped this up at the end of an era, guys. This was our favorite video game store to go to. They had great deals, movie pass, all this cool stuff, way before their time. But unfortunately the big giants came along and put out the mom and pops. But man, this place was cool. You could go, they had a system set up, you could test and play games. It was amazing. It was actually the first place I played Super Mario World in Japanese, because that was what it came over, it wasn't ported yet. I played Jaguar there for the first time. We played Sega CD there. I mean, we played so much stuff. TurboGrafx. I mean, it was amazing. So it's nice to have some relics. I do have some other games in my collection from first run. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you guys haven't played this game, it is tough as nails, but a little bit more playable than Rastan on the Master, which is also a really cool game. And then there's some other various ports to different collection pieces to like PS2, Xbox, and I'm sure some online arcade stuff. But if you want to play the game, you play it right here on the Sega Genesis. And if you see that baby, Taito. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with publishers, developers, and things like that, you see a game with Taito on it, you just grab it. You know it's probably going to be good, at least having value for like arcade play, high score, replayability like crazy, collectible, just so good. Never pass on a Taito game. And then up next, now these are games from my childhood that I grew up with on my console. As I mentioned, I had Sonic for the longest time, but then I picked up some other ones. And right here, you can't deny Golden Axe 2. Oh baby, this is one of the best arcade port games around. Old school beat 'em up, fantasy setting. You got dragons, spells, magic. I mean, I don't know what more you need to say about this game. What an excellent game. And I mean, Sega Genesis is home, and Master is home to some of the best arcade ports. We're talking, Space Harrier, Altered Beast, Afterburner. I mean, we could go on and on and on. Alien Storm. I mean, come on. You got all the cool games. Sega Genesis, what a cool system. What it meant to bring arcade gaming home. That's what you get on the Sega Genesis. So if you guys are on the fence, oh, I don't know what I want to collect for, Nintendo, Sega. If you don't pick them both, and you're maybe like, you grew up gaming as a kid, but now you're trying again as an adult, go for the Sega. Not only are the games cheaper, they have a more adult feel to a lot of the games than, say, its counterpart on the Super Nintendo. Not that the Super Nintendo isn't an amazing system to game on, but right here, Sega Genesis, man, if you want that just arcade authentic feel, you gotta get down on the 16-bit Sega. And then finally, home run hitter number 1, Toe Jam and Earl jamming. Yeah, this game right here. This is probably the second or third game. I don't know if I got Golden Axe first or this first. For my console. And all these games I've had since my childhood. These are all personal copies since I was a kid. But Toe Jam and Earl, I mean, this one will always hold a special place in my heart. It's one of the first kind of like co-op games that I played way before its time. Roguelite settings, oh my gosh, so good. Co-op split screen. This game had it all. Funky beats. It had like a beat generator thing you could do. It was way cool. And like I said, that was one of my first experiences in like co-op gaming, because I grew up kind of playing like, you know, Sonic single player game, RPGs, things like that. Golden Axe 2 is a 2-player beat 'em up, but I think for the most part I played that solo. You know, as a young kid, you don't have a lot of exposure and ability to branch out and do things. And this is, you know, before online gaming, so you had to go over to a buddy's house, you had to get your parents to take you, blah 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 blah, whatever it was, until you got a little older and you could ride your bikes over there. Well, alright guys, that is my top 3 most valuable Sega Genesis in-box games. And like I said, by value, I don't necessarily mean price. What are your most valuable games? What do you think about mine? What are your memories, experiences with these games? Have you played them? Maybe you haven't. Check them out. And like I said guys, if you're looking into getting into collecting, the Sega Genesis is probably a really good place to start. If you want to go sooner than that, Sega Master is a great place to start. It's a little less available than the Genesis, but there are less games. You could probably complete the entire US release Sega Master collection, start your gaming collection there, and then go forth to the Genesis, which has a lot more titles, most of which aren't too terribly expensive, but there are those upper echelon of games that will break the bank. Same with Master, but there's only a few, maybe 5 to 10, whereas the Genesis, you know, you're looking at probably 50 games where you're not going to want to pay those prices. But that's not to be said. You might find a good deal. And who knows, you know, maybe you'll get to the point where you don't mind spending $100 on a game. It's kind of a lot, but if you look at modern gaming, you know, you spend $100 on a game with the DLC and the, you know, the season pass, whatever, and then, you know, buy the special edition, there you go. So just look at it like that. But yes, these games, they hold a special place in our hearts. I don't know if it's because we grew up in that era, or maybe gaming was just better back then. And that's not to say that gaming isn't great now with all the different things going on with that. But if you want to have a real classic gaming experience, you need to go back to that 8, that 16, that 32-bit era and really dive into some of those games and see what it was to be a gamer in that time. Have those games. There's just something about them. I've been gaming since I was 5 years old. It's a long time, so let's say over 30 years. And, you know, I'm always going back to those old ones. Always, always, always. It's so much fun. Obviously, I like to game all around. Any games are good. We try to find the value in any game here at Brothers Forge Gaming and bring to life its qualities, its uniqueness. So yeah, if you guys like what you've been seeing here on Brothers Forge Gaming, make sure to check out our vids. Come on back, subscribe, give us a like, drop some comments, let us know your thoughts, your opinions on some of this stuff. We'd love to hear it. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Masterpiece Collection Theater. Thanks for stopping by, and make sure to come on back, check us back for more. We'll see you next time.